Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and exciting news that we got for Monster Hunter Rise on the PC that is set to launch in just a couple of days via Steam. And that's the fact that Capcom pretty much went ahead and finally dropped a launch trailer. This is something that I talked about a couple of days ago. I was expecting them to go ahead and drop one, but we just simply hadn't seen one. It was just every single game gets a launch trailer, but Capcom just simply waited up pretty much until the last minute to go ahead and drop one. These usually drop about a week or two before the game releases. But now that we finally got one, it came along with a brand new surprise. And that's the fact that they're showcasing new features being added into the PC version, presumably exclusively, but I don't believe anyone's actually reached out to Capcom and asked if these features are actually going to be making their way back retroactively to the Nintendo Switch. It would be great to see, and if that information does come out, I'll be reporting on it as well. But obviously what we're looking at here is filters, essentially a new way to be able to look at the game on the PC version. Now, interestingly enough, they do showcase that in the advanced graphics settings option, that filters option is there. Originally in the demo and in the other build that we got to see, that feature was not available there. They show lens distortion, vintage effect, depth of field, film grain, but filters was not an option available there before. I'm guessing for the final build of the game, they decided to just simply add it in, as it was something that just wasn't available before, so we had no idea this was actually coming. The very first one that they show off is a black and white filter. It's just the same. Everything is going to look the same resolution, no other effects other than the fact that the game is just simply black and white. It does remind me a little bit of Ghost of Tsushima, I believe, on the PlayStation 4 and definitely on the PlayStation 5. Had a couple of filters for like a movie effect type of thing. So this is very close and reminiscent to what that game decided to do. The second filter that they showcase is the sepia. Of course, if you're like a photo guy, a photo person, you know that sepia is used for very artistic shots. So it doesn't necessarily surprise me that they're showcasing this one as well. The third one is called Japanese style and basically adds a little bit of a blur effect and like toned down colors. I'm not necessarily sure what that's going to be. Maybe there's a motion effect added to that. I didn't really get to see it in the trailer, but it definitely looks different for sure. Now, the fourth one is really interesting. It's called Warring Lands Style. It puts pretty much a black and white and red filter on everything. So anything that was already red would be like blown up red. Anything orange would basically turn red. Maybe even yellows as well. Definitely some yellows there. But any other colors like greens or blues are like toned down completely, and they basically turn into a gray or a black. So it just makes it seem like everything has a red and black or gray contrast, and it definitely stands out. It looks really interesting for sure. The last few that they showcased, they are called the cinema styles. They have the sepia one, the black and white one, which end up showing off that little bit of a film grain thing where a lot of like artsy people, I guess, will end up using that to make like really interesting clips. You know, like if we're fighting, pretty much like the intro they showcase there where the hunter fights the Magnamalo, and it just definitely looks like professional, I guess is one way to put it. So that's an interesting setup that they're going to allow players to be able to make the best of, and again, use it as best as possible. They do go over other features like ultra wide display, which of course we already knew that already. You know, 4K resolution, not that big of a deal. We've known about this already. High resolution textures, of course. Obviously PC, that's just pretty much built in. Uncapped frame rates, we have gone over this before. Various customization options as well as listed, but they don't necessarily go into full details as to what any of those other features are. Presumably we're going to find out if they are adding features to the menu. Again, I went over the menu before when we originally got to see the PC version. I don't necessarily know if the menu has changed other than this filter option. So, you know, if they're adding more things to it, we'll just have to wait and see. This is all well and good. I have no real issues with it. I don't necessarily believe any of these filters will cause or lower performance. I don't think necessarily adding colors or removing colors, if you're looking like at the black and white one, for example, would that actually remove any sort of performance issues or whatever? I don't believe that's how that works. I'm not exactly sure, but I don't think colors really make all that difference when it comes to rendering and how much power you actually need to render an image. However, it does make me wonder if any of these filters or any of these options are just going to be available for PC, because they were just simply able to add them in, or if they're gonna again retroactively add them to the Nintendo Switch. I would love to see that. I would definitely love to reach out to Capcom if I actually could, and be able to get an answer to that, because I do think these are not going to be performance demanding features that I think the Nintendo Switch would definitely benefit from having that. With that said, we do know that Sunbreak is set to launch in the summer, so maybe this is just something that they end up adding to Sunbreak by default when it launches on both Switch and on PC. So PC will just already have that feature already, but Nintendo Switch fans will definitely be able to be happy getting those features as well. I'm glad that they're finally starting to talk about the PC version again. It's just going to be out in a couple of days. I am hoping to put out a video going over just a couple of things that I think new hunters should be aware of when it comes to the PC version. But other than that, I'm definitely looking forward to playing it myself and talking about it as best as possible with you guys as well. If you are brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when videos go up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.